You already know the filter I use on this channel, the 3 a.m. test. If you're unreachable for 48 hours, does the money still show up without you? Most business ideas fail that test instantly. The ones that pass it are almost never exciting, and that's exactly why almost nobody bothers looking at them twice. Last time, I walked through 17 of these. Pressure washing, vending routes, laundromats, the ones that already have thousands of views, proving people actually want this kind of honest breakdown. So today, I'm doing round 2. 15 more, none of them overlapping with the first list, all of them boring enough that you've probably driven past every single one this week without noticing it was a business at all. Same rules as always. Real starting costs, real income ranges, and the one mechanic that makes each one actually work. Let's go. Number 15. Mobile pet grooming. Startup cost is $25,000 to $45,000 for a properly outfitted van with water tanks, grooming tables, and climate control. This one gets dismissed constantly because it sounds like a hobby with a business card taped to it. But a single groomer running a well-routed mobile van can service 6 to 8 dogs a day at $80 to $150 per appointment, with zero commute time between clients because the shop drives to them instead of the other way around. The real unlock is the route density. Group your regulars into the same 3 neighborhoods on the same days, and you eliminate the dead windshield time that kills most mobile service businesses before they ever turn a profit. Number 14. Junk removal. Startup cost is $8,000 to $20,000 for a used truck and trailer, plus the disposal fee relationships you'll need at the local transfer station. People assume this is just a guy with a truck, and at the bottom end, it is. But operators who position themselves for estate cleanouts, foreclosure cleanups, and contractor debris, instead of competing for one-off garage cleanups on marketplace apps, charge $300 to $900 per job and get repeat contracts from realtors and property managers who need the same service every single month. The unglamorous work is the moat. Nobody wants to be the junk guy, which is exactly why the ones who commit to it stop having competition. Number 13. Billboard and static signage land leasing. Startup cost varies enormously, from a few $1,000s to lease a small parcel along a highway frontage road to well over 6 figures if you're buying land outright specifically for this purpose. If you own or lease the right strip of land next to enough traffic, an outdoor advertising company will pay you a flat monthly fee just for the right to bolt a sign onto it, often $500 to $2,000 a month for a single structure, with zero maintenance responsibility on your end because the ad company owns and services the sign itself. You're not in the advertising business. You're renting out a view that already existed and would otherwise have made you nothing. Number 12. Gutter cleaning on recurring contracts. Startup cost is $3,000 to $8,000 for ladders, a vacuum system, and basic safety equipment. The seasonal, one-time version of this business is a grind. You're constantly reselling the same customer every autumn. The version that actually compounds is signing property management companies and HOAs onto twice-a-year service agreements, billed automatically, so you never have a slow season where you're knocking on doors again from scratch. One operator with 200 properties on a spring and fall contract effectively has his entire year's revenue locked in before January even starts. Number 11. Home inspection. Startup cost is licensing and certification plus $5,000 to $10,000 in equipment, moisture meters, thermal cameras, and inspection software. Every single home sale in the country needs one of these, and the report has to come from a licensed, unbiased third party, meaning the realtor can recommend you, but can't actually replace you with something cheaper. A single inspector can realistically complete 3 to 5 inspections a week at $400 to $600 each. And because it's relationship-driven with realtors who send repeat referrals, the client acquisition cost after your first year approaches zero. Number 10. Mobile notary and loan signing agent. Startup cost is genuinely tiny. A notary commission, an errors and omissions insurance policy, and maybe $500 in supplies. This is one of the few businesses on either list where the barrier to entry is almost entirely a certification, not capital. Loan signing agents who specialize in real estate closings get paid $75 to $200 per appointment, often for 45 minutes of work, because title companies need someone local, licensed, and available on short notice. It doesn't scale into an empire by itself, but as a low-overhead add-on to almost any other service business on this list, it's close to pure margin.
Number 9. Non-medical senior home care. Startup cost is licensing plus $10,000 to $25,000 in insurance, bonding, and initial staffing costs before your first client even signs on. This is not a small business by revenue potential. It's a staffing agency with a stable, growing customer base that has nowhere else to go because the population needing this kind of help only increases every year.
Agencies typically bill clients $25 to $35 an hour and pay caregivers $16 to $20 of that. And a single agency with 15 to 20 active caregivers can realistically generate 7 figures in annual revenue. The hard part isn't demand. It's the licensing and the staffing logistics, which is exactly why most people never start. Number 8. Residential pool cleaning routes. Startup cost is $5,000 to $12,000 for a service vehicle, chemicals, and basic equipment. In warm climates, this is almost pure recurring revenue. Weekly visits, flat monthly billing, and a route that a single technician can service 20 to 30 pools a week on. At $100 to $150 a month per pool, a filled route of 100 pools is $10,000 to $15,000 a month before you've hired a single additional person. The entire business model is density. The value isn't in any one pool, it's in how tightly packed your route is, so drive time never eats your margin. Number 7. Commercial window tinting and film installation. Startup cost is $15,000 to $30,000 for training, tools, and initial film inventory. Offices constantly need this for energy efficiency, privacy, and glare. And unlike residential jobs, commercial contracts come in bulk, an entire floor of a building at once, not one homeowner's living room window. A 2-person crew can install film in a mid-sized office in a day or two for $3,000 to $10,000 per job. And build-in management companies who like your work tend to hand you every future tenant build-out without ever putting the job out to bid again. Number 6. Emergency and commercial locksmith services. Startup cost is licensing plus $8,000 to $15,000 in tools, a service vehicle, and key-cutting equipment. The residential lockout business is a commodity. Anyone with a lockpick set and an app listing competes for it. The commercial side is different. Office buildings, apartment complexes, and property managers need a locksmith on retainer for master key systems, access control, and after-hours emergencies, and they pay premium rates specifically for guaranteed response times. One locksmith with a handful of property management contracts can out-earn a dozen competitors chasing one-off residential calls. Number 5. Tree removal and arborist services. Startup cost is significant. $40,000 to $100,000 for a truck, chipper, and climbing or bucket equipment, plus certification. This is one of the more capital-intensive businesses on this list, and that capital requirement is exactly why the barrier to entry keeps most competitors out. A single large tree removal job can run $1,500 to $6,000, depending on size and difficulty, and storm season alone can generate a year's worth of demand in a few chaotic weeks. The operators who do well aren't the cheapest. They're the ones insured well enough that property owners trust them near a house. Number 4. Chimney sweep and inspection. Startup cost is certification plus $5,000 to $10,000 in equipment. Almost nobody thinks about their chimney until an inspector, an insurance company, or a home sale forces the issue. And at that point, they need someone immediately, not someone cheap. Annual inspections run $150 to $300, and a technician can complete several a day during peak season, with insurance companies increasingly requiring proof of inspection before renewing a homeowner's policy at all. That single requirement turns an easily ignored service into a recurring, almost mandatory one. Number 3. Scrap metal and used appliance recycling pickup.
Startup cost is $10,000 to $25,000 for a truck, trailer, and basic tools to break down large appliances. You're getting paid twice in this business. Once by the homeowner or contractor happy to have a broken appliance hauled away for free or a small fee, and again by the scrapyard for the metal itself. Insurance companies, roofers, and solar installers all need detailed roof imagery without sending a human up a ladder. And a single operator can complete 4 to 8 inspections a day at $150 to $400 each. This is one of the newest businesses on either list, which means the competition hasn't caught up to the demand yet. The certification requirement alone keeps out anyone who isn't willing to treat this as a real business instead of a hobby with a camera attached. Number 1. Medical courier services. Startup cost is $10,000 to $20,000 for a reliable vehicle and basic insurance, plus background checks required by most healthcare clients. Labs, clinics, and pharmacies need specimens, prescriptions, and documents moved constantly on tight windows with strict handling requirements. And once a courier proves reliable, healthcare clients almost never switch providers because the risk of a missed pickup is far more expensive to them than your rate ever will be. A single route servicing 10 to 15 clinics on standing contracts can generate steady 5-figure monthly revenue with a single driver, and it scales in the most boring way possible. You simply add another driver and another route once the first one is full. And that's 15. Same pattern as last time, and I'll say it again because it's worth repeating. None of these are clever. None of them are original. Every single one already existed before you watched this video, sitting in plain sight, waiting for someone willing to do the unglamorous work of actually starting. Here's the part that connects all 32 businesses across both videos now, if you've watched them both. None of them require an original idea. Every single one is a variation on the same underlying mechanic. Solve a problem that's slightly unpleasant, slightly inconvenient, or slightly beneath the dignity most people assign to a real career, and the competition thins out almost entirely on its own. Nobody has to out-innovate you in the gutter cleaning business. They just have to be willing to climb a ladder as often as you are, and most people, given the choice, simply aren't. The businesses on these lists don't get discovered. They get inherited by whoever was willing to look at something boring long enough to notice it was profitable the entire time. Let me close with 2 people this time, because it's the part of these videos I keep getting asked to do again. Sarah spent 4 years trying to build an app. A good idea, genuinely. Pitched to investors twice, funded by neither of them. Every conversation ended the same way. Promising, interesting, not quite there yet. 4 years of promising and interesting, and nothing to show for it, except a folder of pitch decks and a growing sense that the goalposts kept moving every time she got close. Her older brother, in that same 4 years, bought a struggling gutter cleaning route from a retiring owner for a fraction of what Sarah spent on legal fees alone chasing her first funding round. He added drone roof inspections as a second service to the same client list 18 months later, the same drone inspection business from earlier on this exact list, and now runs both out of the same 2 trucks with a part-time hire covering the overflow during storm season. He didn't pitch anyone. He didn't need funding, a term sheet, or anyone else's belief that the idea would work. He needed a retiring owner willing to sell, and the patience to actually run what he bought without reinventing it. Sarah's app might still work someday. That's the honest, uncomfortable part of her story. Brilliant ideas sometimes do eventually land, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise just to make a tidier point. But her brother's gutters have been paying him every single month since the day he bought them, without needing anyone else's permission to succeed first, and without a single pitch meeting in between. If one of these 15 surprised you, or if you run one yourself and know something this video got wrong, tell me in the comments. I read every one, same as always. And if you haven't seen the first video with the original 17, that one's linked above. Between both lists, that's 32 real businesses with real numbers. And somewhere in there is probably one you drove past this week without ever noticing it was a business at all.